Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're plunging headfirst into a universe of grim, dark futures and, well, ancient secrets. Our mission: to pull back the curtain on one of the most enigmatic factions in Warhammer 40,000, the Dark Angels.
Yeah, we've been digging through articles, lore, research, looking at their history, their unique setup, and how they play on the table.
So if you've ever been curious about the whispered legends and, dark quests of these Space Marines, you are definitely in the right place.
Absolutely. We're aiming to sort of cut through all the dense lore surrounding them, get to the core stuff, show you why the Dark Angels are so significant, so fascinating, both in their story and how they actually work in the game.
Think of it as your shortcut to understanding these guys.
Exactly.
All right, so the Dark Angels, first thing that jumps out, their age. They weren't just a chapter.
No, they were the first Legion.
Imagine that, the originals.
Yeah.
And now their Primarch, Lionel Jonson, he's back after thousands of years.
He is a huge development in the current storyline. It's massive.
So how much does that origin, being the first, still define them? And what's the Lion's return actually mean for them now?
Well, being the first Legion, that brings this immense weight, a kind of seniority, maybe even a deep-seated pride. Their original home, Caliban, a feudal forest world, destroyed, tragically, during the Horus Heresy.
Ah, the Heresy. That ties into the Fallen, right?
Precisely.
Yeah.
That event didn't just shatter their planet. It forged their identity, their whole secret burden around the Fallen, their brothers who turned traitor. And the Lion coming back, it's seismic, like a historical figure returning to a world that's completely changed. It offers maybe redemption, but also it complicates that secret they've guarded for millennia.
Okay, so they have this knightly theme going on. Grim honor, ancient vows, that kind of thing. But underneath, there's this layer of intense secrecy, like obsessive secrecy. What's that all about? What's the core secret?
What's really fascinating is, their whole identity hinges on this hidden shame and this relentless hunt. They project this knightly image, sure, but that deep secrecy, that grim honor, it all serves to hide their defining mission, hunting the Fallen.
It's all out. Sounds ominous. For anyone new to this, who exactly are the Fallen?
Good question. They're Dark Angels from the time of the Horus Heresy, that massive civil war ages ago. These Marines sided against the Emperor, fell to chaos, the big cosmic evil in 40K. They got scattered across the galaxy, and the loyal Dark Angels see them as this constant reminder of their perceived greatest failure.
So it's more than just catching traitors. It feels deeper, more personal.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not just justice, it's atonement. It's about their honor, their identity. The sources really emphasize this need to atone for what they see as a betrayal of the Emperor, a stain on their legion's history. And they believe only they can cleanse it. Imagine carrying that for 10,000 years. It shapes everything, every decision.
Like a shadow hanging over them.
Exactly. A shadow that affects how they deal with everyone.
Right, and that must impact how other Imperial groups see them. Like, they must seem pretty aloof, maybe even untrustworthy.
That's the conflict right there. It's great lore.
Yeah.
Their obsession means they often operate outside the normal channels, keeping secrets even from allies, which, makes them look insular, suspicious.
Is it ever a problem for them? Does it backfire?
It can. It definitely isolates them. Trust is hard-earned and rarely given freely by the Dark Angels. It's a price they seem willing to pay, though, for their secret quest. It's part of that grim sacrifice theme.
Okay, so that secrecy shapes their character, but it also shapes their structure, right? These wings, that's not standard Space Marine stuff.
Not at all. It's pretty unique. Their history led to this special organization, the Wings. Each one has a specific role, which translates directly to the tabletop, too.
So break it down for us. What are the wings?
Okay, first you have the Green Wing. These are your standard tactical Marines, intercessors, the main body of the chapter. Think reliable troops, holding the line, providing fire support. The backbone.
Got it. Standard Marines, but Dark Angels flavored.
All right. Then there's the Ravenwing. This is where the knightly theme gets a high-tech twist. Fast attack vehicles, bikes, land speeders. They're like cavalry fast, hard-hitting, used for reconnaissance and quick strikes. Think speed and flanking.
Okay, cool. Bikes and speeders. Very mobile.
Very. And finally, the Deathwing. This is the elite. First Company veterans, all clad in Terminator armor. Usually bone-white armor, which is also distinctive.
Ah, the guys in the big suits.
Exactly. Think walking tanks. Unyielding knights. These spearhead assaults teleport into the heart of battle, hold objectives against impossible odds. They are incredibly tough.
So you've got the line troops, the fast cavalry, and the heavy knights.
Pretty much. And leading them all is Supreme Grandmaster Azrael, plus other masters for each wing. And now, of course, the Lion is back, which adds a whole new layer to their command structure. It's shaking things up.
Okay, let's talk tabletop. How does this all play out in the game? The sources say they're versatile, strong characters, but the thing that really struck me, given the knights in robes, is they're often called a shooty faction. That feels counterintuitive.
It does, doesn't it? And that's one of the really interesting things about them in the game. It shows how Games Workshop can play with themes. Their strongest aspect often is their shooting, especially with certain buffs and doctrines. But they combine it with those incredibly resilient units. So you use the Deathwing Terminators to anchor your line or take key points. They just don't die easily.
Okay, so they tank the damage.
Right. Then the Ravenwings zip around, harassing, taking objectives, maybe hitting weak spots.
And the Green Wing provides the firepower.
Exactly. Provides the solid fire base. It allows for this flexible balance. You can lean into different aspects, but often disciplined shooting is key. It's about that synergy between the wings. It allows for this aggression combined with resilience that maybe other chapters don't quite replicate in the same way.
And for their biggest punch, sources point to Deathwing Knights. What makes them so special?
The Knights. Yeah, they're a centerpiece unit for a reason. They're even tougher than regular Terminators and hit incredibly hard in melee. Give them the right support, maybe some character buffs, and they can chew through almost anything. Seriously tough.
So, elite melee powerhouses.
Definitely among the best Terminator units in the game. And they can deep strike, appearing suddenly where your opponent least expects them. Always a threat.
Makes sense. Now, you mentioned unique rules. They have their own book, like Blood Angels or Space Wolves.
Yeah, they get their own codex supplement. That gives them access to unique stratagems, those tactical plays you use, in-game special relics, warlord traits, all tailored to their lore and play style. It really lets you build a distinctive Dark Angels force, not just, Green Marines with some extra rules.
But does that specialization have downsides? Does it make them predictable, maybe?
It can. That focus, while powerful, can mean they're less flexible if the battle shifts unexpectedly. If you build heavily into, say, Deathwing, you might lack speed or numbers. They're an elite army. Fewer models on the board typically.
So managing losses is critical.
Very critical.
Yeah.
And if your opponent knows how to counter your main strategy, adapting can be tricky. It's a trade-off for that focused power they bring. You commit to a style.
Okay, putting them in the bigger 40K picture, they're always mentioned alongside the big names, right? Ultramarines, Space Wolves, Blood Angels.
Absolutely. They are one of the major iconic first founding chapters, consistently important in the lore and the game. And getting their own book, like you said, alongside chapters like Black Templars and the others, really highlights that they aren't just a generic Space Marine force.
They have their own distinct flavor.
Definitely. Their lore, those internal divisions with the wings, their specific battlefield roles, it all sets them apart. Games Workshop does a good job making them feel unique, even within the broader Space Marine faction.
And it comes back to those two core things again, doesn't it? That intense secrecy about the Fallen.
Constantly influencing their actions, making them mysterious even to their allies. Like you said, a 10,000-year-old cold case they just can't let go of.
Yeah. And then the surprise of being a primarily shooty army, despite looking like medieval knights in space.
Right. It subverts expectations. It's not like the Blood Angels who are all about melee or Space Wolves maybe.
Yeah.
The Dark Angels have this different tactical focus. It makes them a really compelling choice, I think, whether you're into the lore side or the gaming side. That mix of loyalty and secrecy, knightly themes, and ranged firepower. It's a great paradox.
So wrapping up our deep dive on the Dark Angels, we've seen their ancient roots as the First Legion, that deep, dark secret driving their hunt for the Fallen, and how their unique three-winged structure gives them distinct strategies on the battlefield. They're really defined by that hidden history and relentless mission.
Yeah, it leads to that final thought, doesn't it? They are fiercely loyal to the Emperor, no question. But does that all-consuming quest for atonement, keeping secrets, operating alone, does it truly serve the Imperium's present or future? Or is it more about their own fractured pride, their own past?
That is definitely something to mull over. A good question for the grim darkness of the far future. Well, thank you for joining us on this fascinating deep dive into the Dark Angels. If you enjoyed unpacking their secrets, maybe share this with a friend who loves lore or strategy games or just a good mystery.
Yeah, definitely. And make sure you subscribe to the deep dive wherever you get your podcasts.
That way you won't miss our next exploration. Until next time, keep digging.